This is the Uptick Network Stock Day Podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Penny stock news and interviews from the microcap world. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. With your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a very exciting guest with us. His name is Ron Brewer. He is the CEO of RJD Green Inc. Well, they trade on the OTC pink sheets under the ticker symbol RJDG. Ron, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know, your company is a holding company that you focus on three divisions: healthcare services, green environmental services, and then product specialty construction, industrial products and services. Can you give us a little bit of each anecdote of each one of those divisions?
Yes, let me try not to be too inclusive, but and try to give you a general description of each division.
Yes, please do.
In the RJD Green Healthcare Services division, we are launching initially with services to the healthcare provider. The first company that was acquired is a very exciting opportunity. It's IOsoft Inc., which is a software developer and supportive software that is in the virtual pay. It expedites and makes easier in collection process, etc. Virtual payments, ACH payments, and credit card payments. And they have a deep history in the healthcare services industry. It's their primary focus. We teamed that company with an industry expert, nationally known speaker with long-term relationships. He comes in as the executive vice president, and so we feel we have an exciting team there from ability to reach the market, and also we have three different proprietary, I'll call it platforms/products to offer to the payors in the healthcare services.
And that's with the IOsoft. Is that correct?
That's with IOsoft.
Now, you guys had a press release, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe sooner than that you guys retained a multinational travel company.
We've been retained by a multinational company that wants to be able to access their services into the United States healthcare services. The company is in negotiations with more than one large payor system here in the United States that we expect before the end of the year to be launching fully in a major contract.
Can you tell my listeners how do you monetize that? Is it a one-time bang, or is it an ongoing residual, them leasing?
It's an ongoing process of all transactions that occur. Let's say with an individual payor, maybe it's a healthcare clinic. That all of their transactions ongoing are a fee for our expediting of the process, handling the process. And what happens with the healthcare services in particular, if they can expedite their process by 2 days, it's major. These services that are being offered by IOsoft in this industry are definitely unique in capability of performance in that regard, both in enhancing the time and the ease of usage. The payor actually controls the whole process from their office, which is a bit unique, and the cycle time is, for current industry standards, is about 20 to 30% faster.
Out of your three platforms, is this going to be your number one platform going forward in terms of revenue?
It certainly can be. The revenues from this company could be very significant by year 3, above $50 million in revenue with a very high profitability. That, now I emphasize, could be, but the industry expertise, and relationships that our team has, this is it's got a very blue sky opportunity to it in the way of revenues and profits, and we're going to concentrate on that quite extensively before we move into further acquisitions in the healthcare services to the healthcare service industry.
My guest today is Ron Brewer. He is the CEO of RJD Green Incorporated. Well, they trade on the OTC pink sheets under the ticker symbol RJDG. You know, I mentioned earlier your revenues, and correct me if I was wrong, earlier in 2015, you guys are just a little bit north of $2.1 million in revenues. What projection of revenues or EBITDA do you see in the existing operations going forward? You know, here we are at the beginning of the fourth quarter of 2016. What do you see in 2017?
Well, first off, 2016, it was not a large increase, but it will be somewhere between 3.1 to 3.5 million, with about a 15% EBITDA profitability for 2016. Our full launch of additional acquisitions will be in 2017, and prior to two acquisitions that we're negotiating now, we expect the revenues in 2017 to be around $8 million.
You know, a lot of the guests that I bring onto the show, some of the questions that I get in emails from my listeners is, how's the balance sheet look like? Dilution, toxic debt. Can you talk about any of that?
We have no toxic debt. We have one pre-public formation debt of that's now approximately $250,000 that does have option for stock conversion if not taken out within the next 12 months. Other than that, at the corporate level, that's the only debt we have. At the operating level of one of our companies in the construction services business, we have about $200,000 in debt, and they are the primary revenue in this first year. The 3.1 million is their revenues, and again, they do about a 15% EBITDA. So it has a positive cash flow above debt service, obviously. And at this point in time, we do not have a lot of debt. I want to expand in the fact we're in the midst of trying to negotiate and complete before the end of the year, which is saying and I emphasize we are trying to get that completed. Two acquisitions, which would bring forward a combined over $14 million in revenue and over $2.3 million, as I recall, in EBITDA. And our focus there is to strengthen the construction services division with an acquisition that brings them to next year's projection of about $10 million in revenue, and to give the environmental a excellent first revenue producing project that will be around $8 million next year.
You know, speaking of your environmental platform, your Green Environmental Services, can you elaborate a little bit to my audience what exactly that is and what do you guys plan on doing? What's the object?
Yes, I can. One thing I probably should mention, even as we're going through this, is that there's three platforms in a small cap company is not common at this point in time. But in all three of these industries, our corporate participants, my officers, all have a rich history in all three of these industries. So we feel like we have the ability to take advantage of knowing the markets very well and finding niches that we can be very comfortable in long-term success. In the environmental, our first acquisition was a patented technology that, basically oversimplified, it takes care of any hazardous or waste issue from, let's call it smell, liquids, and solid waste on commercial meat farms.
Okay.
Particularly with an emphasis on chicken and hog commercial farms. The process is performed on site of the commercial farms it's at a operating cost that is less than it costs the farmers now in commercial meat farms to take care of their waste process. It returns the water to potable water. It reduces the solid waste into a small protein wafer type process that can be sold for either animal feed protein or garden fertilizer. And it takes all of the even though it may not be toxic, it takes all of the smell and odor away from that waste as well.
You know, looking at your company on numbers-wise, your market cap is a little bit north of 400,000. Seems very undervalued, and your stock is trading at 0.3 of a cent. That seems very undervalued. My guest today is Ron Brewer. He is the CEO of RJD Green Incorporated. Well, they trade on the OTC pink sheets under the ticker symbol RJDG. In closing here, Ron, is there anything that you and I didn't get a chance to talk about that you would like to get out to my listeners?
No, I would probably try to do a summary that we expect in at least no later than early 2017 to have additional acquisitions that strengthen all three divisions to where they're all would be a 10 million revenue top base, and we will have a minimum of over 20 million in revenues with what we expect to be a 20+% EBITDA, which is pretty important to me because that means that we'll have the cash flow requirement.
Absolutely.
To continue to progress our company.
My guest today has been Ron Brewer. He is the CEO of RJD Green. I appreciate you, Ron, coming on the show, taking time out of your busy schedule. I wish you nothing but the best. We're going to check back with you in a couple of months to see how things are going.
Thank you for the opportunity.